What is up, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by the man with the picks, Pez himself. What's up, Pez? How's it going?
Jeff, I get a little flack from the audience for the way I put the pods in. I get antenna, I get alien, I get moron. They don't make these things to fit the normal ear, but I read an article. The latest pod has some sort of adjustment feature. For people like myself, I guess I got a small ear, small eardrum. I don't know, maybe there's a condition if you're in really cold water surfing or cold air skiing, narrows the eardrum, Jeff. It's a very painful procedure to have it redrilled. I'm not doing that. So take it easy on me, people. Take it easy on me, all right? I think it looks great.
I do check the comments on your Instagram feed. Some of the best are, I'm not taking advice from a guy with Q-tips hanging out of his ears. That's my favorite.
I didn't invent them. Poor Steve Jobs. If my man would have made it, the poor guy was still alive, he would have fixed this, Jeff. That guy can fix anything. He's the smartest tech guy ever. Creative genius.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of smart and genius, last week you looked really smart and like a genius in the NFL. Let's talk about the picks. Last week we went a perfect 4-0, and it's hysterical. And I did see some people on, because your Instagram feed has grown so much, over 80,000 followers. There's people that are now coming to your defense saying, it's funny when this guy gets picks right, you don't hear crickets, like nothing. And then when he gets one wrong, man, they just start. I think the gentleman used, or maybe it was a female, I don't know, said that you come out like herpes when you least want it. So
unbelievable. I love that guy, Jeff. That guy, a big supporter. And this is something I think we need to get by as a society, Jeff. The internet, the social media, it's not there to be mean. It's there to communicate. You wouldn't talk to people like that face to face. This is something the country should address in everything. It's a time where we could all say to ourselves, cheap shotting people and being negative, it's a waste of everyone's time. And we're trying to pick the winners, Jeff. You know it. We want to make money. You're burying me when we miss them. What'd you say, Jeff? 4-0? That's a good season, guys. I'll catch you next week.
Pez, come back. We gotta continue the streak. We gotta keep it moving. But let's go back over last week's wins. With first week 1, we were 1-3 in NFL plays, and people were saying this guy's clueless. Big bounce back in week 2. Let's start off with the Thursday night game. Green Bay hosted the Washington Commanders. They were spotting 3, and you said take the Packers, giving 3. You were right. What do you want to say about that one?
And in general, the first couple weeks, we picked mostly winners. I think we only missed 1, maybe 2 games. We didn't cover the spread. So when you're in that direction as a gambler, you got to stick with it. Your system's working. But of course, when you have margins, you have lines, they're not made to help you. So we're feeling good about it. Green Bay, everything we kind of talked about last week kind of came true. Green Bay, a better team all around. Jaden Daniels, I like the kid. I think he's got some talent, but, is he going to be the star quarterback he was year 1? We talk about it all the time. Rookie quarterbacks that have great years, that does not equate to a great career. We could go through, I think of Robert Griffin with Washington, where you have these great years, but the league gets tape on you. And now we're getting into week 3. Once you get tape, you pick up on tendencies, you pick up on weaknesses. Jordan Love, player, Jeff. Great team. The defense was running wild. Micah was running wild, and Washington didn't seem to really have a chance. So they kept it close, right? This game was a 1-score game to cover, not for most of the game, and that's a credit to Washington. But I think both teams sputter at times. I think their offenses sputter at times, and I don't see a consistency that I still think is ready to win the Super Bowl, but that remains to be seen. I like both teams, and we were happy with that pick. Lambeau Field, huge advantage on a short week to go to Green Bay, weird place, and it's something to keep in mind for gamblers out there. Road games on a Thursday to a weird field, especially a historic field for a young quarterback, never been there, always tough to play.
Yeah, and it's been a long time now with Thursday Night Football, and the data strongly leans towards the home team no matter what on Thursday night, so keep that in mind. But then we went to the AFC East showdown. The New England Patriots go down to South Beach to play the Miami Dolphins. The New England's getting 1.5. They win outright over the Dolphins. You're not a big fan, and Coach Capri's, I'll let you talk about this game.
And Tua had a nice game, Jeff. Over 300 yards. This is one we're going to admit it. We got lucky at this one. I don't know if you saw the end of this, Jeff, but the New England went to kick the game-winning field goal They were down, or they were up 1 at the time. Correct on this one? No, maybe that's the other one, Jeff. I'm
Oh,
thinking of the other one.
you're thinking of the Indy game.
I'm
We'll
thinking
talk
of the
about that
Indy game.
next. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Indy game. I'm getting my wins confused. New England did what we thought. Tua a little better than we thought. I think Drake May could be a good quarterback. I think both of these teams, though, we're not going to be betting on very often. Both teams are going to be lucky to win 6 or 7 games. And I hope the best for Tua. Had a good week. I hope his protection's there. New England, interesting game this week. We're not taking them, but we'll get back to that later. Let's get to that Indianapolis game.
Let's talk about it. That Indy game was such a weird finish. In case I'll try to illustrate it for those listeners or viewers out there. The Colts go out to try and kick. I believe it was around a 60-yarder to win the game. It's no good. But then there's a flag on the play that the Denver Broncos they roughed the center. So it's a 15-yard personal foul. That moves it up 15 yards, which obviously makes it a 45-yard kick. That kick is good. The Colts win. Danny Dimes stays 2-0, and we win our pick. So there you go.
And Bo Nix, another interception. Danny Dimes, no picks. I mean, this guy, 316 yards, a different setting, different quarterback. But at the end of that game, I was so happy to just be involved in that. As a gambler, I like to think, because I've been on the other side. We're going to be on the other side, Jeff. We're going to get screwed on a situation like that.
That already happened in week 1 with the Steelers.
It happened week 1. But in this one, the game-winning kick, as a gambler, the Colts got it. If you take the Colts, they're going to win the game outright, but they're not going to cover unless they hit it. They miss the kick. You get the miracle flag for roughing the center. How many of those happen a year? 3? And then I think, oh, my God, if I would have lost my stuff, Jeff. I mean, this is what gamblers do. I can remember being in rooms. I go through my old days hanging out with my old crew, on the Jersey side of Philly. Guys would break things. You're in someone's house. You might have a little fisticuffs. It's why we gamble, Jeff. Did we get lucky? Absolutely. And I think the Colts deserve the win, though. I think the Colts, they're going to be in the playoff conversation. I hope they make it. I think it's a very good team that could get better. I still don't think they're fully there yet defensively, and I think they're a better team defensively. But this offense is clicking. Taylor, 165 on the ground. I mean, Danny Dimes looks like the Danny Dimes. He burned the Eagles a couple times earlier in his career. I don't know what happened in New York after that, but I love it, and we're going to keep looking for that team for sure.
All right, the last play, and I tailed you all the way on this upset, or not upset, but yeah, I guess you called it an upset pick. The Atlanta Falcons in Minnesota. They were getting 5. I was very vocal on other podcasts saying take the Falcons outright. Take them on the money line. And they've ended up crushing him. J.J. McCarthy gets injured. He does finish the game, but he has a high ankle sprain. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. Atlanta goes to Minnesota. They win. I believe that final was 22-6. What do you think about this one?
Again, we appreciate the support, Jeff. But at the end of the day, I don't think the Vikings are a very good team. The running back is now out for a considerable amount of time today. I think 4 or 5 weeks. So I don't even know who's running the ball. I don't think they have a running back that scored a touchdown in their career. McCarthy out. We have a guy that I never really liked, Jeff. I don't want to get into it and ruin the show, but Carson Wentz starting in Minnesota. I'm glad we took the under. Having said that, Atlanta, two tough games to start their season. I think that team is much better than their record. I think easily, Atlanta could be a playoff team, and I think this team is going places. Penix Jr., when we talk about him with the running back, with Bijan, 143 on the ground, this is a dynamic duo. They get that defense situated like they did in Minnesota. This is a good team. I think could contend with Tampa maybe to kind of, win that division. I hope it is. I love that team. I love Penix Jr., that.
All right, so we finished 4-0. Our NFL record now gets above 500. We're at 5-3. So do your math, folks. 1-3 week 1, 4-0 week 2. Let's talk about our week 3 plays. You have 2 right now, but I'm sure you have some leans. Let's start off with the Houston Texans, an AFC South matchup at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston is getting 1.5 points. Who are you thinking here?
Jeff, we've got some the only thing, and I talked about it last week. Sometimes you have so much data that's going your way for a game that it begins to make you question a little bit. Is this too good? Is that too much of an emphasis on why I'm making it? But Trevor Lawrence, horrible against the Texans in his career, 2-6. 7 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. The kid's averaging more than a pick a game. We go to C.J. Stroud, 3-1 his career against the Jaguars, 7 touchdowns, 2 0 picks. So going into this game 0-2, Texans had a brutal start to the season. Rams and Buccaneers. I mean, that is 2 tough games. They lost narrowly to both of them. I'm not making excuses for them, but those are 2 playoff teams. So the Jaguars, I don't know why this line is what it is, Jeff. I just don't see any reason why. I think sometimes they do make mistakes, and it's based on current form, maybe, or schedule or data. But you can't equate the Jacksonville data to the Houston. I mean, their schedule's been weaker. I love Houston in this situation. I think it's up to 2 now, Jeff. So we're getting 2 points. I love it all day. I think they're an outright winner, another outright dog winner. And it's scoring higher than any game we looked at all season so far. I love Stroud in this situation. It's a must win, right? They can't go 0-3.
And so you said Houston is up to 2?
It's up to 2 now.
Okay.
And that, could that keep going? I don't know. When you look at the current action on this one, book that I'm looking at right now, 69% of the action is coming in on Jacksonville. So we'll take it, Jeff. And maybe this is one to wait a day or two to see if that line creeps up some more. Anything over 2 is an even greater gift. I don't see how Houston's not favored. I mean, maybe we're looking at something differently, but I love them. I love them outright winner in this week.
All right. Next, we have the Denver Broncos in an AFC West showdown with the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers at home are giving 2.5 to the Broncos. What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, this is another one, Jeff. I think this line should be bigger, and I got to give it to him. I'm not a huge Harbaugh guy, and Herbert. I've been down on him, but the guy's been lighting up. 5 touchdowns and no picks on the season. The team's playing great, Jeff. The Chargers are playing as good a football as anybody. Denver, and we weren't huge on them last year. Bo Nix kind of made us eat it a little bit last year, Jeff. But Bo Nix, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I think the Chargers and Harbaugh are good enough that they're going to be able to force him to make tough decisions again. Second-year quarterbacks take a step back. Herbert lightening up at home. That to me is a 3-0 team, more than Denver being 2-1. Everything lines up for us in this situation. I love this one. I get on it now. I think this line's got to go up. I think at some point we'll see the Chargers laying 3 points, 3.5 maybe. So 2.5 discount, field goal, we still win. Love it, Jeff. Love the Chargers all day.
All right. Only 2 plays. What are you thinking about some other games this week?
Very difficult week, Jeff. Week 3 is when the books have the advantage for the first time in the season. They have data. Now, and again, I think we've picked out a couple games here where that data might be steering them a little wrong. I hope we're right about this. I think Houston, that line is off, and I think the same thing the Chargers. But once they start getting data, just like a team getting film, the lines get tighter. They get better at sticking it to the people, Jeff. So a very difficult week. Week 3s always are. I tell people, I caution people not to load up on the house. Take it easy, especially games involving backup quarterbacks. We've had a surge. I think we have 5 backup quarterbacks starting this week. We put out a lean last week on San Fran, I believe it was, and sometimes week 1 they get a little spark, but there's a reason quarterbacks are backup quarterbacks, right? They're not that good. So we have 5 this week. Cincinnati, Minnesota. This is going to be like a preseason game. We got Carson Wentz against, I don't even know who's quarterback for Cincinnati.
Jake Browning.
Jake Browning, Jeff. I mean, how's he in this league, right? What the hell's going on? So, the initial reaction, like, you got to jump on Minnesota. They just lost their starting running back. This game's, I'd be very careful about getting excited against betting for or against backup quarterbacks. So we're going to shy away from those games this week. We may be putting out another play. We're looking at the numbers and making sure about injuries and such. But Rams, Eagles over is something we're looking at. That line has gone down. It's currently 44.5. It opened 46.5. That gets to 44. We're putting that out. That's 2.5 point discount. The Birds, when they put up a donkey offensively, they always get AJ the ball the next week, Jeff. So I'm predicting an air out game. Stafford historically has burned the Eagles a lot. I think the Birds win, but I think we're looking at a 50-plus point game, and we'll be tinkering with that. We're not ready to put it out, but I think we might.
All right. So make sure you check out Pez on Pez's Picks, both on Twitter and Instagram and on YouTube. Don't forget we have a YouTube channel in case you're just checking us out on the audio side. Go to youtube.com and search Pez's Picks, and you'll find us. All right, Pez, let's shift gear to the college football scene. We talked before we hit record about how frustrating college football is, and they have a lot of weeks off, and there's some powder puff games in there. Last week we finished 1-1. Kudos to you for taking Georgia Tech, getting 5.5, beating Clemson. They went outright. What are your thoughts on that game?
Georgia Tech, a ranked team. I mean, this is a team that could really go places, Jeff. Good quarterback, good running back. Clemson, I don't know. They burned us last year. I don't know what the hell happened last year. The stars aligned for them. Dabo Sweeney not entertaining being being a big part of this transfer portal. It's caught up to them. I don't think Klubenek is as good as people thought he was. I don't think he's anywhere near a Heisman candidate. So, a team will look to bet against Clemson and look to continue to bet for Georgia Tech. You need a good running back. You need senior leadership, and that's a huge, huge thing, especially now with the COVID aging out. We don't have 28-year-old guys out there anymore. So, love that game, Jeff. Loved it.
All right, and then we do get burned. Notre Dame giving 6.5 to Texas A&M. Texas A&M comes back and wins outright. I don't know what's going on with the Fighting Irish. Something doesn't seem right with them. What are your thoughts on that game?
Well, it started to make sense, Jeff. The Notre Dame quarterback, I don't know if you saw this, gave away his plays the entire game. I think 80% of the offensive plays. So what he was doing, if he was square-footed, feet even.
I did see this, now that you mention it, yeah.
That's a run play. 1 foot, the right foot back. That was a pass play. And I think it was 80% of the plays. Again, FFSN legal team, did you see they gave back, they're giving back, was it Jacksonville had an employee embezzle $20 million and FanDuel's giving him $5 million back? I don't know if you saw that, Jeff, but the NFL forced a situation where Jacksonville, I believe it was Jacksonville, I'll check it out while we're on here, but an NFL employee embezzled money from the company and was funneling it into FanDuel or I'm not sure which one it was, but they agreed to give $5 million back. In the gambling world, it doesn't happen, Jeff. Just because the guy stole the money, he lost at gambling, right? What is up with sports and gambling? It's become so soft, Jeff. If I steal money from my employer and they'll bet games on a bookie and lose it, the bookie's not giving the employer back the money. What's going on here, Jeff? FFS said, let's start filing lawsuits. It seems like the thing to do these days. Notre Dame, we're done with them, Jeff. We're done. What a fraud. I can't believe we bet them. Ruined our perfect week, but we'll take 5-1 any week, Jeff. We'll ride on that the whole season.
So we're 1-1 in college, which moves our record to 4-5 on the season. We're entering week 4 for college plays. You have 2 plays. You want to start with Michigan at Nebraska. Nebraska is getting 3 points at home. The home dogs, are you taking them?
We're taking Nebraska. Dylan Raiola, a quarterback we liked a lot last year. Had a little bit of growing pains. Matt Rule, year three coaches. This is the year they make their next contract. Ola has been amazing. Current numbers on the season: 8 touchdowns to no picks. Michigan, I can't even tell you who's quarterback, and they've got their whole quarterback roster is injured. At this point, I think it's still up in the air. Coaching situation up in the air. Suspensions. Harbaugh left that team falling apart, Jeff. This is the last week I think we see them ranked. I love Nebraska at home. A huge game for them. They win this, they're getting ranked. Plus 2.5, we'll take it. If that got to 3, I like it even more. I think Nebraska's got something to prove. And I think Riola's going to be in the Heisman talk by the end of the season. I think he's right there right now.
Okay. So you're taking Nebraska there at home. And then the other game that you like is a long shot play. Big, I always am wary of these heavy spreads, but Georgia State at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is spotting 26.5 points. What do you think about this one?
This was a team that came on last year, and they were the ranked team, kind of like assassin. They beat ranked teams like it was nobody's business. Diego Pavia, an unbelievable athletic quarterback, a senior. He returned. This guy is like Johnny Football. He's unstoppable, Jeff. 7 touchdowns and 2 picks. They're coming off a huge win last week, beating ranked South Carolina. They smoked them 31-7. Smoked Virginia Tech 44-20. They've put up huge numbers first 3 weeks of the season: 45, 44, 31. Georgia State, not a major NCAA program. I love this all day. Vandy at home. I've been to games there. It's going to be rocking. This team's riding high. This team is a believer in itself, Jeff. It's like last year. We couldn't believe they kept winning. Sometimes with good coaching and you have a strong senior leader quarterback, and this guy, we definitely do. I think 26.5 is a discount. They're going to win by 40, Jeff. I love this game.
All right. Okay, so there you have it. We're taking Nebraska and Vanderbilt in their home games there, even though with the spread. So what exactly are you thinking? Any other college plays, your leans, or anything like that?
We'll keep a look. We looked at that Utah-Texas Tech game, but I think it's too close to call. Miami, the lines are already getting big. College, we're into week 4, so they're dialed in on these lines. So I think you got to be careful. Miami against Florida. I don't like betting Florida schools against Florida schools. These guys all know each other. There's an extra intense emotion, and these guys played together growing up in high school. Florida has the most Florida guys, every Florida school. So we're going to stay away from that one. I don't think we'll have another college play, but we'll keep punching the numbers. We get an injury or a line change, we'll be there for sure.
Now, baseball is entering the home stretch, and you want to talk a little bit about baseball in the postseason. I'll let you do that.
So we're going to be all over the playoffs, Jeff. We're going to keep looking every day. It's been a very difficult end of the season, very unpredictable. I'm kicking myself. You always take the team who wins the division on the road and goes out and gets drunk all night the next game on the road there. We should have had the Phillies at LA last night. I was talking to some jabronis of mine. I reminded them, when you win the division, you get drunk all night. You're happy, Jeff. These guys are living free. They go up to bat. They're nice and loose. There's no stress. He pitched a nice 5-inning game, but we blew it on that one. We've got to put that one out, but we'll keep looking. A few days left, but for the playoffs, we're going to be dialed in. I love baseball playoffs. It's a way different gambling proposition. You know what you're getting into. You're getting the best pitching and the best, whether it be middle reliever or closer. They're not holding guys back. You're going to get the best guys, and then we start throwing starter pitchers in for middle innings. I love it, Jeff. We're going to be all in.
All right. And then Ryder Cup, I know I'm going to have you on my Fairways and Dreams podcast today as well, but you have any plays in particular? Maybe we should hold this for next week, because next week will be right before the actual event. What do you think about the Ryder Cup?
I do have one we're going to be releasing in the next couple of days or so. I had the line, Jeff. It'll take me a second to find it, but Russell Henley to be the biggest points getter for the American side is our big prop play going into this tournament. Putter on that team.
Well, that's tough between him and Sam Burns. Sam Burns is a hell of a putter, too.
Jeff, we both know this. Sam Burns stinks. He's only on that team because it's Scheffler's buddy. That guy stinks. He shouldn't be anywhere near it, Jeff.
And JJ Spawn. JJ Spawn's a clutch putter, too, just so you know.
I like that guy, and I like that guy's got balls. Imagine a Henley with even like a Shambo or like somebody that can pound the ball. You get that on that green, and that guy's one of the best putters in the world. 20-footers. He puts like Spieth used to. So I like him as top points getter. I believe he's plus 1,400 last I looked, Jeff. But we'll have that officially when we put that out. But I love that play.
I haven't even looked at the gambling aspect of the Ryder Cup yet. You didn't have any plays on the Pro Core, but I killed it last week, man.
I didn't watch the tournament, Jeff. It's one of the only ones I didn't watch. I needed a break from those guys. What is that? Let me guess.
The U.S. team was tuning up. They did. They were tuning up. I don't think a lot of those guys wanted to play. I think that Keegan Bradley told them to play. He said, "We want to get you out there. We want you playing. You got to you're going to play this week, a week off. They're going to get to Bethpage. They're going to be tuned up. They're going to be ready to go." And the U.S. team did really well in this tournament. Like they really did.
I don't think any of the Europeans played, right? I think they were at Bethpage. I think they went to
Bethpage last week for a scouting trip, and everyone's like, "Oh, like Rory wins the Irish Open," and then they're crapping on Scotty Scheffler winning the Pro Core. Like there's a lot of high profile players in the Irish Open. Give me a freaking break. Like that's, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Well, I hear you, Jeff. Those Irish are tough people. When I was there, they had elementary school kids smoking cigarettes. I'm Irish, so I respect them. Probably a fight at the end of that tournament, but I can't stop thinking about it. I saw an article that Keegan Bradley should be playing, Jeff, and it's starting to bother me. I'm not playing on this team. Ben Griffin blowing the tournament. That can't help his kind of street cred walking into this Ryder Cup. I hope our game's on. That course, and I've talked to a couple guys that played it now. is so hilly. It's an exhausting mental torture, and maybe we do have the advantage a little bit. Not too many hilly courses there in England. Well, I guess throughout Europe they have them. I don't know, Jeff. I'm pulling straws here, but I hope we roll in. We need Scheffler to play better than he has in Ryder Cups, right? I mean, he's about 500. If we had his dominance he has as an individual player, then we're winning, right? That guy wins 5 points. I think we're winning.
Well, he's only played in 2 Ryder Cups, and the first one, but he was not who he is now. And I didn't think in the last one he is not who he is now. Yeah. There's a lot of expectations on his shoulders. I'll admit that. The Bethpage course is set up that everyone says that the greens are not difficult. It's getting to the green that's difficult. So it's going to honor those that can hit fairways. And when you talk about greens that aren't tough, like if you can get Scotty with someone that hits fairways, good luck, because he is as lights out with the irons as anyone. And if he's putting, there's a points right there. But hey, we'll talk more next week about the Ryder Cup. What are your final thoughts on this show? Anything else you want to touch on?
Anyone that's still questioning Jalen Hurts, Jeff, I think we should ban from our Fans First Sports Network. I mean, what's going on here? It's the reigning NFL Super Bowl champion MVP. And I got Philly fans telling me, oh, man, this guy's not good. He wins, Jeff. He's the second highest winning percentage quarterback career ever. I mean, this guy, all he does is win ball games. And we played Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to another stalemate and won. The 2 best defensive coaches in the league, you know, arguably the 2 best teams in the league still, till they're not, right? So at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts wins. And that is the only important stat in football. Let's keep our eye on the ball, Jeff, and go Birds.
All right. I love it. Enjoy remember, Pez's Picks, Instagram, Twitter. Check him out there. Also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, search Pez's Picks. You'll find us. We'll be back next week to talk about how we did this week and then also primer for the week ahead. Pez, enjoy your weekend, man. Take it easy.
You too.